afternoon, friend. What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Hey, friends. Welcome back to another episode of The Amber May Show. So glad you're joining me today. I have my buddy Sam Anthony from yournews.com joining us today. A lot happened over the weekend. I don't know if you know about it, but over 500 people, over 400 people were deported from a Hyundai car manufacturing facility over the weekend. Yeah, that happened. So we're going to get into some of that news. And then the U.S. tariffs. Now, we're going to go into some of the numbers on how much we have generated with U.S. tariffs and why some people are trying to stop Donald Trump with the tariff policies. And another Your News article shows that the Gallup poll is saying Democrats favor socialism over capitalism. So we're going to get into all that on today's episode. So I hope you'll like, share, subscribe. If you believe what I'm doing, please consider becoming an Amber May Angel, because Thursdays, I'm going to start having my premium days. This Thursday, I have Lord Sterling guest hosting for me. So starting next Thursday will be my premium days, and I don't want you to miss out. We're going to have so much fun next Thursday as some of the premium, and I already told TV Green what we're going to be doing as part of that. So I hope that you will join us and be a part of that. So you can be a Rumble Premium subscriber, and the buttons are right here in right here as you're watching, right underneath this video, the Rumble Premium button. You can pick that, or in the Rumble chat, you could be a $5 monthly subscriber to my channel if $10 a month is too much for you. So go ahead and try that, or you could be a $5 monthly subscriber with locals.com. The ambermayshow.locals.com. And when you're at the Amber May Show, go check out the merchandise tab at the ambermayshow.com. I have some wonderful shirts. I have some hoodies coming up. They're on the website, I believe. If not, they will be soon. So it's getting kind of chilly outside, so go check out that and grab yourself a hoodie from the ambermayshow.com. Love to have you. Some shows you need to check out. We want to thank the Nun Report. They rate into us Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I'm here at 6 p.m. Eastern, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, Thursday, I am at 2 p.m. Eastern right here on Rumble. So you can find me 2 p.m. Eastern. So tomorrow, find me at 2 p.m. Eastern right here on Rumble. I have a great guest. We're going to be talking about how to be pain-free, live pain-free without pharmaceuticals. So if that's interesting to you, please tune in tomorrow for my guest. And then we're going to rate into the Michael Schwartz Show later on, right after this episode is over. So like, share, subscribe, repost this episode. And also, since Lord Sterling's going to be guest hosting, make sure you give Lord Sterling a like and a follow with Comments Censored. And Lady Hamilton Art, she did a great job this weekend with some of her shows. I checked her out. So over on Podbean, make sure you check out my buddy, The Old Man's Podcast, The Pulse in Alaska, Story and Strength. Go check out some of my friends over there. Well, I don't want to keep my friend Sam waiting, so why don't we get on to the program, shall we?
On the Amber May Show, the truth runs deep, fighting for the lost, for the souls who weep, breaking the silence, making a stand, a voice for the people across this land. Children stolen, lives betrayed, she won't back down, she's lighting the way, a beautiful warrior with faith so bright, holding the line in this endless fight. On the Amber May Show, the truth runs deep, fighting for the lost, for the souls who weep, breaking the silence, making a stand, a voice for the people across this land.
Welcome back, folks, to another episode of the Amber May Show. I got a fan favorite. Let's welcome Sam Anthony to the program. Welcome, Sam.
Amber, great to be here. And I have to tell you, I love the whole new look, the song, the Amber May Show song. Fantastic.
Thank you. You got a round of applause because the audience sure loves Sam Anthony when he comes on.
Well,
so make sure you say hi to the chat because they're always like, hi, Sam. Hi, Sam.
And I don't say hi. Well, hi, chat. Hi, everybody.
I know you can't see him in StreamYard.
At all.
None of my guests can see the chat in StreamYard. But whenever you're on Dan show or Michael Schwartz show, the chat's going crazy. They're like, hey, Sam, how's it going, Sam?
But I'm on StreamYard, so I can't see it. I actually have to have Rumble live and go back and forth to see it.
Yeah, and it gets distracting, trust me. I've been doing it, and it's distracting. So much in the news to talk about. And again, I just love that you're on my show. I have so much fun with you when you come on. I am just glad that we do this. And I love being on your platform. So thanks for allowing me on your platform. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. No, we're happy to have you, Amber. As a matter of fact, we want to bring everybody in under this roof. So that's the whole objective.
So something that happened over the weekend that I think we really need to talk about, and maybe some people already are, but it's on your news. So onyournews.com, it's a great site because you could get hyper localized news. So onyournews.com, U.S. immigration raid at Hyundai's Georgia plant sparks diplomatic tensions with South Korea. Now, just so you know, raid is an executed search warrant, but it's too much of a mouthful. So they say raid to make it look like, oh my God, look at the police. They're raiding. They must be doing something. So U.S. immigration authorities confirmed on Friday that 475 people were detained during a large-scale executed search warrant at Hyundai's massive manufacturing site in Georgia, where the South Korea automaker is developing electrical vehicle operations. The majority of those detained were South Korean nationals, highlighting the unusual nature of the operation, which targeted a facility still under construction. The site, developed in partnership with LG Energy Solution, is intended to produce batteries that will power Hyundai's next generation of electric vehicles. Officials disclosed that more than 300 of the detainees were South Korean, underscoring the scale of the executed search warrant and its potential impact on both the workforce and diplomatic relations. The operation marked as one of the most significant workplace enforcement actions carried out as part of the Trump administration border immigration crackdown. With large-scale raids have occurred before, this one stood out because it involved Georgia's most ambitious economic development project, a venture that state leaders have repeatedly promoted as critical for job creation and U.S. competitiveness in clean energy sector. Now, how is it going to help the job creation if a bunch of illegals from another country are in power? So what are your thoughts on this, Sam?
Well, I mean, it's illegal immigration is illegal immigration. Doesn't matter what color their skin is or, what ethnic background they are. Mm-hmm. So, what really blows me away is, what are they doing here illegally?
Right.
I mean, is it that hard to get a visa and to update your visa? I mean, is it that hard to comply with a foreign country laws? Because I got news for you. If you go there and you're there illegally, you will get arrested. There's like a 100% chance. So what kind of problems will we have with them? Okay.
Especially the H-1 visas, right? Where an employer wants to hire you for your skilled work. I mean, there's a lot of employers that have really kind of abused that, because we do have skilled workers here. We have plenty of skilled workers. We have people that are going into the engineering, people going into computer science. We have a lot of it here, but yet they keep taking foreigners from other countries using the H-1 visa. And like you said, so why did Hyundai not renew or help renew all these workers from South Korea, their visa? What was the point of that? Why didn't they do that? It's very strange. I don't understand that. And that was a lot of people that they deported.
It's a ton. And, I mean, I'm imagining they probably got rid of like 60 or 70% of their workforce. That's there.
I bet they did.
I mean, all of a sudden it just went to a halt, but it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's Hyundai's fault. I mean, so you bring these people over, they have to come here illegally. There's expirations on the visas. So who's monitoring this stuff to find out when they expire so we could renew them because they're working for us?
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, this is not, it has nothing to do with, with people from, Central America or South America. This is a completely different country, but you're in our country illegally. And so this is why I say it's, that what is the headline of that story? That it's brought on tensions between us and South Korea.
Yeah, I don't.
To that effect. So what are the tensions? Because I can assure you, if all of us were there illegally, we would be arrested and then ultimately deported out of their country.
Oh yeah.
Would it create tensions with us? So sometimes I just wonder if headlines are just BS.
That's all they are. According to Homeland Security investigations, and when I was in journalism school, they would teach you to make your headlines very captivating. So that's what all headlines are about. And what they did teach you in like journalism schools, like the first line of an article is supposed to be the most important line, because it's supposed to tell you what the article is all about. And then the rest after the first line is just the details. But yeah, in journalism school, they teach you to make sure it's sensational so that people want to read. But according to Homeland Security investigations, most of the detained individuals were transferred to an immigration detention facility in Folkston, Georgia, near the Florida border. Authorities say none of the workers had been formally charged with crimes, but the investigation remained ongoing. The lead Georgia agent for Homeland Security investigations explained that some detainees had illegally crossed into the United States, while others have overstayed visas or entered under visa waiver programs that explicitly prohibited employment. So they're breaking the law, and so is Hyundai for employing them, because we have these checks that employers have to do to make sure that they're hiring legal workers. And so in response, the South Korean presidential chief of staff announced that Seoul would review and strengthen its visa processes for working traveling to the U.S. on business assignments tied to major investment projects. The review is intended to prevent similar incidents in the future and ensure that South Korean companies and their employees can operate smoothly while contributing to U.S. economic development initiatives. To me, this is kind of messed up because, you know, Donald Trump's trying to do a couple things here. He's trying to increase the job productivity here. He's trying to bring back manufacturing to the United States because it's all been basically lost starting in the 90s with Bill Clinton. So now he's trying to bring back manufacturing, trying to make us, you know, relevant again. He's bringing tariffs, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in the tariff article that your news has. But when all these companies are only hiring foreign nationals, what is that going to do to the U.S.? I mean, there's going to be a lot of workers that are looking for work that cannot find employment. So I'm hoping that now that 400 and something employees have been deported, that a lot of Georgia people can now get a good paying job working for Hyundai and getting probably a discount for their family car. You know, I'm hoping that that's what this means. I was going to say something else, and then my train of thought left.
That's okay. No, but I agree with you. To me, the reason you're having them put up a plant here and manufacture here is simply because now you can hire U.S. workers, which sparks our economy. It gets it rolling, not bringing all your own people.
Yeah.
So you could save money. So I'm in agreement with you there, and I would suspect that they're going to force them to start hiring U.S. labor, at least a percentage of it. I mean, some of the management might have to be Hyundai people. You might not want to switch them around, but certainly when it comes to the factory jobs, you know, that's going to be labor coming from the U.S. So look, at least what it shows is that it's not just focused on Central and South America. This is any country, and not for nothing, but any one of you, any one of us that goes to any other country illegally, we will be arrested if they find us.
And then they run the risk, because this administration has said clearly that if we find you and deport you, you have no chance of coming back as a citizen. If you deport yourself, then you have a chance to go through the process and become a legal citizen. But the other way around, now all of these people really screwed themselves over because they chose to either not renew their visa, or they came illegally over here to work for Hyundai, and now they're all facing deportation and probably not ever allowed to become U.S. citizens.
So, you know, that you could look at it from that standpoint. You could look at it as they created huge opportunity for American workers.
Yes, they did.
Absolutely. They coming back. That's
absolutely. I want to show you this video. It has nothing to do with the news.
Okay.
But since we were talking about Korea, there is this video of this Asian father and son. And I just thought it is so cute and so funny. You know, Sam, we really need to be paying attention to our kids. You know why? We might face some consequences that are unforeseen if we don't. Check this out. I don't know what's worse. The fact that the mom, I assume, is filming and not saying a word to the dad. I don't know, but you got to be careful. Where did you get that cracker from, son?
All right. So that's gross. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I just had to. I thought that was so funny. I showed all my friends over the weekend. I'm like, I'm playing this on my show.
It would have been funnier if he was pulling them out of the back.
Yeah. Yes, a little bit of that. Okay. So, I love yournews.com. So if you haven't been perusing your news, why not? You should be, because it's very hyper localized news, and they give you all the nationwide news too. So let's talk about this. UF tariff revenues hit record $31.4 billion in August amid legal fight over Trump trade policies. Everything Trump is doing seems to always have a problem. Someone has an issue with it, because he's finally trying to restore America to its greatness, bringing jobs back, bringing manufacturing back, lowering taxes. Oh, you would think that everyone should be praising this president, but they don't. So the U.S. Treasury Department reported on August 29th that tariff collections reached $31.4 billion in August, the largest single month total so far in 2025. That is incredible. With the record haul year-to-date, tariff revenue has risen to more than $183.6 billion. Wow. Highlighting the central role of trade duties in President Donald Trump's economic strategy. Now, the figures released in the department's custom and certain exercise tax statements show a rapid escalation in monthly receipts of $17.4 billion in April, $23.9 billion in May. It keeps going up. It started at 17, went to 23, then to 28 billion in June, July 29 billion. In early September, collections have already topped 1 billion, and we're not even finished with September, putting the government on pace to match last year's annual total in just a few months. And the surge comes as Trump's border tariff program faces legal challenges. Of course it does. And on August 29th, the appeals court ruled that president has exceeded his authority in imposing certain tariffs under emergency powers. I would like to know what court that's in. If it's the Ninth Circuit, I could understand why they would say that. The ruling does not apply to existing duties on steel, aluminum imports, but it places other trade measures under judicial review. I have a feeling it's going to appeal, because Attorney Pam Bondi confirmed that the Justice Department will appeal the decision to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has been overturning a lot of these lower court rulings. So I have a feeling it's going to be overturned. What do you think? You think it's going to be overturned in the Supreme Court?
I sure as hell hope so, but it's already been pushed to the Supreme Court and expedited. So that I do know. Yeah, they'll come out with a ruling soon, because they have, I think, till the end of the month. So in other words, he could still continue. They gave him, through the month of September. So Supreme Court's already looking at it. They're going to come out with their report. But what really blows my mind is, if this was Joe Biden, none of this would ever happen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, none of it. Oh, he's doing a great job. Look at all the money he's bringing in. Okay, oh, this is phenomenal. All of a sudden, Trump does it, and this guy's no good. Right. Anything that he does, they're trying to figure out ways. This is why, good riddance to the media, because just listening to these people still. And what blows my mind is they actually get on TV and talk to them. I wouldn't even give them the time of day. I mean, you have no idea how rude I would be to these people. It's like the same thing with RFK Jr. when they were having conversations with him. I mean, my first words would have been, look, I'd love to answer your question, but the fact that you took $1.8 million from pharmaceutical companies makes you irrelevant in this conversation. So I really am not going to answer any questions. Who's next?
Right.
Yeah. You're asking questions. You're working for the people who actually wrote you the checks and pay you to work. You're not working for the American people. Therefore, anything you say is irrelevant. So,
and that was very evident when they were going back and forth. Because they kept saying the same thing, the talking points of the big pharma, and I'm just like, you have this man that's talking about good science, and you keep bringing about big pharma. I mean, it was very obvious.
But this is why I don't understand why he doesn't do it. I'd love to answer your questions, but you don't work for the American people. You work for the pharmaceutical company. This is about the American people. So therefore, no questions, okay? You're a criminal. Go do criminal things. Go find more money from other people. Okay. In the meantime,
I like Cash Patel, because he gives it right back to them. And it's like mic drop moment after mic drop moment with Cash Patel.
Exactly. Who's the next guy? And then they will get mad, and they can say, look, get as mad as you want. I really don't care. You're not going to get any questions answered because you don't work for the American people. You work for yourself, or you work for the pharmaceutical companies that are paying you. So I don't answer any questions. By the way, I have a list of every single congressman who got money from the pharmaceutical companies. So I'm going to tell you exactly how much you got. Okay. So you're out of the conversation. Who's next?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And then and Trump has previously projected that tariff revenues could surpass $500 billion. And I think there's a very strategic reason why Donald Trump's not forthright coming out with, for one, this is such the best news that ever happened to the United States, because once the Clintons came in and all the presidents passed him, they never tried to strengthen the United States with the GDP, right? Because everyone put tariffs on our goods and services, but we didn't put hardly any tariffs on anybody else. So what that means for people who don't understand is that means no one was going to ever buy our goods, because our goods were going to be always more expensive than the people in the other countries, even in America, because we never tariffed anybody else's goods. So the American products were always going to be more expensive. Why? Because the earning level here, because the cost of living is so much greater than anywhere else in the world, it's hard to compete. So those tariffs makes it competitive. For one, that's just one aspect of it. So if we're starting to tariff reciprocally, say that 5 times fast, how everybody else is like, so if someone tariffs us 20%, we tariff them back 20%. Now that's making an even playing field, especially here in the United States, because now things are like a big price discrepancy with foreign goods versus the United States goods. So we might tend to purchase from U.S. manufacturers. And so in other countries, who was going to buy our stuff, because our stuff was always more expensive because they tariff the crap out of us. So I think it gives us an even playing field. And then to go in with taxes, you want to talk about the income tax part of it?
Well, sure, but let me just explain why. Okay, so we have a government that doesn't represent the people. They represent the businesses or the countries that donate to them, hence the Clinton Foundation. Okay, so if you notice, or if you haven't heard anything about people donating to Clinton Foundation, it's because they're out of office. They're irrelevant. There's no reason. But they were there, and it was a slush fund. Oh, you want us to do this for your country and absolutely destroy American people? Sure, put 50 million in there. Okay, good. They basically were selling the United States out. That's all they were doing. And it's not just them. It's not just Democrats. It's a lot of Republicans too. So the reason Trump is doing this, and the reason he's getting rid of things like USAID, and they've got that what do they call them? The Doge in there, right? They're trying to find all the fraud. They're trying to get rid of people. Is they want revenues coming in that exceed what it costs to run the government. So therefore, we no longer will need to pay income tax. So now when he gets this to a certain point, he's going to go to Congress and say, you want the American people to love you? You want to keep your positions? Get rid of income tax, because these people are going to be paying more for goods and services over here. You need to make sure that they get a relief over here. We don't need their money anymore. So now what happens is you basically eliminate 95% of the Internal Revenue Service, which represents God knows what in payroll, because you're going to need the External Revenue Service, right? You're going to need Internal Revenue Service for specific businesses for taxes on specific things. But other than that, why should I have to file income tax? So, my whole thing on income tax, because to me, your money doesn't go to anything to support this country, not a freaking nickel. Okay, it's going to debt instruments that they've, that to some individuals that have been charging us income tax, or what is it called, interest rates, and all your money doesn't go to the country; it just goes to other people. That's all it does. That's what's so disgusting about this. These people have completely screwed this up, completely. And so it all is in the process of being fixed. But even when Trump does something good, you still have the left that's trying to figure out ways to stop it. So imagine what a judge or what a circuit court judge has to do to try and stop this whole tariff thing. He's like, oh my God, this is really good for the people. Yeah. We need to make sure this stops. This can't happen. How are we going to destroy people's lives? I mean, that's the only thing that could be going through his head. So it's a shame that this has to be the way it is.
Or the money laundering. How are we going to keep laundering money if we don't keep taking it from the people?
Yeah. So this is why the legacy media is now starting to collapse exponentially. It's because they don't have any U.S. aid money. Believe me, there was billions of dollars going to those people. So all that's been shut off. I'm sure they have other ways. They're going to find it all. But now Trump has went so far as to let these governors in these states and these mayors in these big cities like Chicago and like Boston basically come out and say, no, we're really good with the crime here. We don't want it to end. We want it to continue. Okay. So he actually has them saying this. Okay. We don't need your help. We're going to do it through love or whatever the hell they're doing. I mean, it's all BS. So they're basically eroding their whole business model. All they're doing is trying to stop him. Now, if Joe Biden said, we're going to send in the National Guard to help you out. Absolutely, Joe, bring him in. We need him. But not when that guy says it.
That's right.
Because when that guy says it, he's authoritarian, he's a dictator.
Well, when we come back, we're going to follow up on that comment because there's a Gallup poll that says Democrats favor socialism over capitalism. And we've seen that happen since the 90s. So when we come back, we're going to pick up on that thought. Hey friends, if you're looking for a doctor you can trust, look no further than Dr. Stella, and you can find her at drstellamd.com. Let me show you one of the areas that I love about Dr. Stella. I enjoy supporting the immune system, especially when it comes to cold and flu season. And I love the Covey Light, the Covey Sleep, especially if you're having trouble sleep at night. Get that Covey Sleep. It'll help you so much. So not only are you supporting the immune system, but it also helps you get a good night's sleep. The Covey Spray, super easy. Covey Bites. These are my favorite, the Covey Bites. She has placed vitamin C, D, zinc, and quercetin. And we all know that zinc helps support the body's immune system, but zinc needs a delivery system. So that quercetin is the delivery system to drive that zinc in to help your body heal faster and feel better. Also has Covey vitamins for kids as well. Hey, and if you're looking to get ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, or you just feel under the weather and need a doctor you can trust, set up a telemed appointment with her. And the best part is when you use my name, Amber or Amber May, at checkout, whether you need your Covey Bites or a telemed appointment, you will save money at checkout. So don't forget to use promo code Amber or Amber May at checkout to save some money. So go visit drstellamd.com and then use promo code Amber or Amber May at checkout to save some money.
Hey, I'm Christina Bobb, and you are listening to The Amber May Show.
One of my other good friends, Dr. Artis, he has this healing conference coming up. Dr. Artis, Dr. Group, Ely, and Schmidt, they come together for something greater than themselves, each bringing something unique and powerful to the stage, a healing message, not just of hope for humanity's future, but a definitive pathway that everyone is capable of walking in order to transform disease and darkness into bright, shiny, healthy light. They will teach you how to take control of your own health by sharing natural, simple healing solutions for the whole family. So the conference is coming up October 23rd through the 25th. It's in Dallas, Texas, on October 23rd through the 25th. If you go to healingfortheages.com and use promo code Amber, you're going to save money at checkout. And now we return to the show already in progress. I sure hope you guys are having fun. I have my good buddy Sam Anthony from Your News joining us. And as we were talking about tariffs, we were talking about the economy, and all that kind of ties into capitalism versus socialism. And so Your News has this wonderful article that I'm going to share with you that talks about a new Gallup poll that came out. And then I'll have Sam, our good friend Sam, commentate on it. So Gallup poll finds Democrat favor socialism over capitalism for the first time. An increasing share of Democrat reports that they now hold a more favorable view of socialism than capitalism, according to a new Gallup poll. The survey conducted between August 1st and the 20th, August 1st and the 20th, among 1,000 U.S. adults, found that 66% of Democrats say they have a positive view of socialism, compared to only 42% who said the same about capitalism. The finding highlights how the party base is shifting towards socialist policies, ideas, as Democrats attempt to redefine themselves following their 2024 electoral defeat. By contrast, Republicans remain firmly supportive of capitalism, with 74% reporting a favorable view and just 14 expressing a positive opinion of socialism. Across the general public, 54% of Americans say that they view capitalism favorably. That's not a big number. Down from 60% in 2021 and the lowest levels since Gallup began tracking in 2010. Favorable views of socialism ticked up slightly from 36 to 39 over the same period. Sam, that's not good. No. Only 54%. I mean, thank God our party's more on the upper, right?
Yeah. Well, the issue with socialism is that it never works. It's always taking other people's money. In our case, we don't have a socialist economy. We have a plutocracy, which is a government that's run by the corporations, right? Because that's who pays all these people to get done. That's why Kennedy was getting grilled by people that got money from pharmaceutical companies, and they probably told him the questions they wanted him to ask. They had to go scare the American public into thinking that he was there to hurt them. So it's a shame that we have to be here, because at the end of the day, socialism is only going to turn into communism. That's the natural progression of things. But it all stems primarily from the education that people have been getting, yes. Okay? Because you're only as smart as the information that you have. So over the last 50 years, they've been just dumbed down.
That's right.
And, this is how I see it. I think that everybody should get exactly what they deserve. And I think that for all the people that do not like to be in the United States because it is not a socialist country, we should pay for any country they want to move to.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I mean, but by staying here, you can no longer vote anymore, right? So we obviously know you don't like this. This is not going to change. So if you want to stay here, just keep your mouth shut and enjoy yourself. And if you don't want to, you can go to the wonderful community that you've so wanted, and you could pick whatever country it is, and we'll pick up the tab. I mean, it couldn't be anything more fair than that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anything more fair. And I bet you it won't get one person to go.
No, they won't. I had a video that I played with my son. We were doing a show a few weeks ago, and I played a video, and this guy asked these two women, they said, "Do you think America is the best country in the world?" And they said, "No." And then the guy asked, "So do you want to move or do you want to stay here?" And they're like, "Well, we want to stay here." That tells you everything you need to know. Deep down, they know this is the best country on the planet. Otherwise, they would have said, "Yeah, I want to go to Africa, or I want to go to Belgium, or I want to go to France or Canada."
That's where he missed it. He should have said, "Well, what country in your mind is the best country?" And they'll give you an answer, and you could say, "Wow, wouldn't you just love to live there?" Yes. Great. I got a great opportunity for you. We're going to give you first class tickets there. You could just never come back. You good? And they won't go.
No, they won't. It goes. I don't know if you ever saw this interview with G. Edward Griffin. It was a long time ago in 1984 with Yuri Bevmosky. I think that's how you say it. And he was a Russian KGB agent that defected to the United States. And he was saying, well, there's 4 stages if you want to take over a country. And in 1984, the first step, he said, is demoralization. And he said in 1984, they've all exceeded and abundantly exceeded that. That was already done in the United States. Then the next thing is destabilization. After that is crisis. After that is normalization. And so, and he said you have to use education. You have to. And you have to have 3 decades to start changing the way the country goes. And so I feel like there's a shift starting to take back those 3 decades and hopefully turn it back into capitalism. And one thing I love about the Arizona state government and our governor, Katie Hobbs, has done everything in her power to try and take it away is the freedom of education. So basically your tax dollars follow your child, whether you want to homeschool or send him to another school that you have to pay tuition with. And she just can't have that. Why? Because if you want to control people, you have to do it through education. And so they started with higher education and teaching the teachers about communism. And now it's trickled all the way down to elementary school. And you'll find that the majority of teachers in the public school are Democrats. And as that Gallup poll says, they favor socialism. So what do you think they're going to be teaching your child? Capitalism? No, they're going to teach them that capitalism is bad and is imperialistic, and you don't want that. It even started in my generation. God really protected me in school. I don't know if it's because I traveled abroad because my dad's a foreigner and I got to see as a child what it's like to live somewhere else other than the United States. I'm not sure. But I loved America. God put a love in my heart for the United States that when teachers would kind of speak against the United States, I kind of had this sense inside of me like, I don't think that's right. And you know what? It's true. It wasn't right, the things I was learning. Now, some teachers I had were very much, I love America. But I had a good group that did not. And it was very evident. They were saying we were imperialistic. We were a horrible society. They tried to make me feel in junior high, they tried to make me feel like you should hate yourself because you're white, because all white people are racist. There was one class in particular. It was called Tapestry of Culture. And the whole thing was about blacks versus whites and white slavery versus, the white owners of slaves. And I hated that class. And I could tell the teacher didn't love teaching it. I could just tell by his attitude he didn't love teaching it, but that was his class. I loved the teacher, didn't love the subject.
Yeah. Well, and you know, as a kid, you really don't say anything. But today I would lose my mind in the classroom.
Oh, yeah.
I would go, dude, you want to die now? Or do you want to wait till the kids leave? Either way, you're not getting out of this room alive.
When you were going to school, what was it like? Were your teachers pro-America back when you were going to school? I mean, if you did that interview and it was done in the 80s.
So are we talking college or are we talking high school?
Either one.
So in high school, I never really paid much attention. I never even wanted to be there. Then when I went to college, I never really went to class. So I have no idea what they were. I swear to God, I was making a fortune in college. Then when I got out of school, I made a fortune. I was more entrepreneurial when I got into college than anything else. I mean, I didn't get the greatest grades because I didn't care. It's like, why do I have to use calculus? By the way, when was the last time you used calculus?
God only knows.
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, school is a waste. We shouldn't even have it. Everybody should be homeschooled with specific classroom stuff that you have to do, which as Sam Sorbo has told me many times, it only takes an hour and a half to train your kid every day to teach your kids, and that's it. You could still get them up at 7 a.m, start class 7 to 8:30, then go to work. That's it.
It's true. I was homeschooled one year, and we got everything done within 3 hours max. I mean. And that was even me reading some material that my mom would have me read for history or whatever. I mean, the max I ever spent was 3 hours. And my grades improved when she put me back. I mean, my grades soared when I went back into public school. So yeah, homeschooling is a great way to educate your kids. But so I'm curious now. So what did you do where you were making a ton of money in college? Like, that's really interesting.
So I worked as a bartender I was at a pretty big university. And so the place I was working at was a very popular place. And my uncle had said to me, you need to make, like, you have a customer base coming to the bar. You need to be able to sell stuff and, make money, not drugs. Okay. So he said, let me take you to a guy I know. So we called some guy up and we drove to a place called the Woodfield Mall. And this guy opens his trunk and he had all these fake Rolex watches, right? Oh. And they were nice. And I said, well, how much are they? And he said, well, they're like 10 or 15 bucks a piece, but you'll probably get somewhere between 50 and 75 for them. So I only had a few $100s, I think. So I bought some watches. I don't remember how many. I had maybe 30 of them or something like that, right? 10 bucks, $30, $300. But I ended up selling them for, I don't know, $1,500, $2,000 or something like that. I sold them like in no time. So then I go back and now I got cash to spend. And he goes, you ought to try these purses. They were the Gucci purses back in before you were probably born, but they were Gucci purses that were very popular now. I don't know anything about purses. I'm like, I don't want it. He goes, just take some of the purses. So because I had all this money, I bought, $1,500 in watches, and I bought a few hundred. You know what went? The purses. I was on back order with purses. These women were constantly asking me for purses. And I don't remember, I was paying 10 or 15 bucks for them and selling them for 40 or $50. But I was probably making in college $6,000-7,000 a month.
Wow.
I mean, that's just at a bar, no taxes, no nothing. So then I get out of school. I didn't even graduate. I just quit. I said, I don't want to do this shit anymore. So I ended up going to work at a brokerage firm, and the brokerage firm paid nothing. You didn't get paid. Matter of fact, you had to pay for your own education. You had to do everything. I never have had a job where somebody actually wrote me a check. Right.
Wow.
So I went to school. I went into the brokerage business, and it was, different back then than it is today. But in the first year I made $107,000, I think. And, and this is when gas was 50 cents a gallon. Okay. When milk was $1, when bread was 25 or 35 cents, I don't remember what it was. I mean, so the cost of living was so much cheaper. Right. But what I learned being in the brokerage business was, because I really didn't get into politics because I really didn't care until it affected your paycheck. It's because it was all based on market. In the market, it was, when interest rates are low, right? So it was all Republican driven. And so then I'm like, well, then I'm a Republican because, we want this. So that was how I got started in it. Today it's just gotten cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. What really ended up happening, this is for your audience, because I have no idea how old they are, is years ago, I'm talking, 40 years ago, making $100,000 a year was like, I did it part-time. Okay. Part-time. Like I could have taken 6 months off and still done it at 21 years old. What happened was regulations, the government started regulating everything. So they made the money impossible, but the only money went to the Lehman Brothers, like the big brokerage firm, Goldman Sachs, right? Everything funneled up. The other people got nothing. And they enriched themselves all through these laws that were brought on by the big institutions that were put in place by our own Congress, because these people were paying them to do it, meant that if you want to know why you're not making any money now, it's simply because of what was enacted back then. So they've made it extremely difficult to make money. I'm just telling you my experience. So, from a political side, I really didn't care. I just wanted money. And that was all I ever wanted. And so now I'm more political simply because I realize, what are these people doing to this country? Right. Okay. And it has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican. However, the Democrats need to become extinct. Okay. It's the Republican side, which, still was part of the problem. And the reason they're part of the problem is, imagine getting in a position where you have Big Pharma that's going to give you $1 million or $1.8 million for your campaign, but comes with strings. And then they'll come to you later and say, look, if you get this stuff done, we're going to give you some kind of board seat or some way where you're going to make additional revenues of $1 million a year once you retire from this until your death. What would you do? Right. What would you do? So, and this is not an exaggeration, Amber, we truly still have the best Congress money can buy. The best. I mean, there is no better. You can't find this stuff in any other country. These people will do anything for money. They're like whores. Okay. And the only way to fix this problem, and I hope Trump hears this, is you need to eliminate every freaking nickel. There's no more money here. I look at politicians as complete criminals. That's all they are. This is just organized crime at the highest level. And the only way to get rid of them is you need to eliminate any way that they can earn a nickel. There's no such thing as campaign contributions anymore. If you really want to serve the people, put your own money up. You want to know what'll happen? When nobody can receive a nickel, you don't even get a paycheck. You don't even get insurance. You get nothing. Just serve the people in your district. That's it. You want to know what'll happen? 100% of them will leave.
Well, I'm helping out my city, my state for free as a precinct committeeman. So there will be people out there that would do it for free. We're going to pick this thought up when we come back from a break, because I want to get into a little bit more and find out more about yournews.com. So we'll be back right after this with Sam Anthony. Let me tell you a quick story that's important to you and your family's health. In 1963, the FDA banned a promising new discovery in the fight against cancer. Laetrile, also known as B17, was so popular among its consumers that some 70,000 plus Americans crossed into Mexico to smuggle it back into the United States, according to Newsweek. Laetrile was under constant attack by big pharma, big media, big government. Sounds familiar? Kind of like ivermectin. And just like ivermectin, Laetrile was both a solution and a problem. You see, Laetrile is naturally found in 1,200 plus foods, including apricot seeds. So big pharma can't make money off of it, and that's a big problem. In the 70s, Sloan Kettering, an American cancer research institute, found Laetrile was successful at preventing cancer and stopping it from growing. That's according to numerous sources at Sloan Kettering and researchers for the movie Second Opinion. So what does this mean to you? Well, I'm going to give you a source for Laetrile. So to find out more, go to the rncstore.com, and when you're there, use promo code Amber May at checkout.
All right, America, Patriots, we are currently on the Amber May Show, so stay tuned. Amber May.
This week, we celebrate Flag Day and the 250th birthday of the United States Army, two powerful reminders of courage, sacrifice, and service that define our great nation. One way you can honor that legacy is by supporting our military, veterans, and first responders just by using your cell phone. Patriot Mobile is the only Christian conservative wireless provider, and their mission is to put faith, family, and freedom above everything else, and that's why I'm proud to partner with them. With access of all three major networks, 5G U.S. networks, you'll get reliable nationwide coverage while giving back to those who serve. When you make the switch to Patriot Mobile, you'll support incredible organizations like Folds of Honor, Tunnels to Tower, Boot Campaigns, Soldier Strong, Warrior Rising, and more. Their 100% U.S.-based customer service team makes switching easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Get activated in minutes over the phone. Go to patriotmobile.com/Amber or call 972-PATRIOT and use promo code Amber at checkout to get a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/Amber or 972-PATRIOT. Support our heroes with Patriot Mobile today and get a free month of service. And now we return to the show already in progress. I have not regretted 1 minute by making the switch from T-Mobile to Patriot Mobile, and I hope everyone will do too. And because Patriot Mobile likes me, they like you too. Use my name, get a free month of service. Why not try to get a free month of service? Sam, tell me about yournews.com.
Well, we are a hyper-local news network. We operate in every city in the United States. The legacy media is collapsing, right? So it's not a secret. There's almost 500,000 people on LinkedIn that call themselves freelancers. There's almost 200,000 student journalists. None of them could get jobs. I mean, they're not finding any. And so what we are is a platform that puts the power of the press in the hands of the people. We have a monetization model for news reporters where they could share in the ad revenue. So everything that we do, Amber, is where the whole world is heading. We just happen to be the only players. So we're doing this very similar to what is that? Angel Studios, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where, because Angel Studios obviously does family-based movies. They don't seek any outside funding other than through what they call equity crowdfunding, where it's the people that support their movies and their mission. So, we live in a world right now which has centralized news. I mean, and these people, you would think that they'd get the message, but they haven't, and they're still doubling down on the messaging. So the good news is none of them are going to survive. I don't give them more than 3 years, and it'll all be over. What'll replace it will be a platform, and that's what we do, where you could have millions of people contributing, and you could have and doing all local news, state news, national news. So it's where the world is heading. Advertisers will be able to target to one zip code and everywhere in between. So here's what we're looking for. We're looking for content creators, news reporters. It could be audio, video, or print that's interested in broader distribution and monetization. So if you're one of those, go to yournews.com, scroll down to the bottom and click Become a Citizen Journalist and fill out our application. Also, and this is something, you went to journalism school, Amber, okay? So I was just on with Todd Callender right before I jumped on with you, and I said, Todd, honestly, I don't think that journalism school is going to exist in another 5 years. And I do not. Okay, and let me tell you why. Broadcast and written. Here's the reason. What newspaper are you going to get a job at? You're not. And so let me ask you this question. Besides you, how many people on YouTube percentage-wise, do you think went to journalism school? I can tell you the answer. It's less than 1/1000th of 1%.
Really? That little?
Oh, it's nothing. I mean, there's people in there that do golf shows that never had their own golf. I mean, there's people that do cooking shows. Hell, my mother could do a cooking show. She never went to broadcast school. People are either going to like her or they're not. And if they like her, they tune in. If they like you, they tune in. That's the whole key. So what I see is, the mainstream media has set the bar extremely low. Basically tell the truth and you're going to win this one. But it's really going to come down to what the public likes. And I can assure you, all you got to do is look online and say, okay, so if I want to be a journalist today, how is it that I do it? What do I need to do? What do I need to focus on? It's who, what, when, where, why. Keep your opinion out of it. Okay, you don't need a $100,000 education for that. Okay, and so with artificial intelligence, the way it is today, you could tell artificial intelligence, here's the bullet points of what I want to discuss, and that could actually write the story and keep it non-biased. You could tell it what you want. If you don't like it, tell it to change it.
Yeah.
The point, explain to me why I need a $100,000 education to do this. The answer is you don't. The simple fact of the matter is, who do you trust more? Somebody on CNN telling you what happened in the local community, or the people that were actually there?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's the people that there are going to be able to share that information with you back, because they're going to be, I was right here. I was standing here. So that's where it's all going. It's going to free press. It's going to citizen journalism. So that, to me, I don't really see in the near future, I think that journalism school is going to go away. There's no need for it. The broadcast is the same thing. I mean, what if all TV news stations go out of business? Explain to me what broadcast journalism is going to hire you other than ESPN, and there's only a handful of jobs. There isn't any. So the reality is, it's called Rumble. It's called YouTube. Get on YouTube, create a channel. It's free. And then start broadcasting, marketing yourself, get your name out there. It all is based on the content, and it is all based on what the marketplace likes. So there's number one. Number two, if you're a consumer of news, we try and have everything. We're building. So currently we have over 5,000 news reporters on our site and growing. So Amber, do you have any idea how many that is? 5,000. We have 5,100 and change. I don't know what the exact number is, but it's went over 5,100. So, that's a lot of people. Like when, in between stuff, I'm approving stories. So, we have, I have an auto racing story, Formula One going on. I just, remember Diamond and Silk was, Diamond died, but Silk still there, Rochelle. So she's got an article in here waiting for approval right now. So we're getting all this content, but it's citizen powered journalism.
That is so cool.
It's amazing. And then, some of it is health story. It's a sports story. It's auto racing. It's business. It's politics. We get them from all walks of life coming in. It's a local story. It's a city. It's a county. It's a market. It's a state story. I just did one, Michigan, political news. It runs in the state of Michigan and politics. So this is where it's all heading. And we're doing something called an equity crowdfund, which is really important because today we live in a world of centralized news. And the reason we're in the mess today is because of the media. It's all controlled by 6 institutions. That's it.
That's it.
And so this is why everybody, and you've heard me say it before, if you're watching, the Sinclair Broadcasting with the 50 people saying the same thing at the same time, one guy wrote that and sent it to all the markets. So what we do, and this is for any investment, find things that completely decentralize the status quo, because what we do is we decentralize the news business and we democratize it. Who gets to say it? We're putting the power to press in the hands of you, Amber, and everybody else. So we're doing something called an equity crowdfund. We've been able to raise about 1/3 of the money, and there's even more money sitting that actually in the issuance express. But if you're interested in making an investment, we're doing a round now, which is at a $20 million valuation. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's what you value the company at, and then you sell a percentage. So if you're valuing the company at 20 million and you're selling, 2 million, you're selling 10% of the company. That's how it works. Valuations could be out of thin air. In our case, we already know our valuation because it's based on our user base. Did I tell you that? User base.
Yeah, the last time I think we talked.
Yeah, so our value of our company is between 50 and 60 million. And that's straight out from what our user base is, because Facebook, every single platform has a user base. That's how they value it. All you do is take the user base and divide it into the market cap. That's it. And it'll give you the number. So Rumble has 250,000 users. They have a $3 billion market cap. It's 12 grand, but it bounces between, 2 and 4 billion. So it could be higher or lower. So figure between 10 and 12,000 per user. Same with YouTube. They've got, I think, 11,000 per user. So, but if you're talking Facebook, they're under $100. It's because everybody could be on Facebook. Not everybody's a journalist, right? There's for every one person, there's 100,000 that are not journalists. So,
right.
So that's how it works. So it's just a different value. So we're doing an equity crowdfund. We're doing this one at $20 million valuation, followed up by a $100 million one, which is a $5 million raise, but valued at 100. So it'll be 5 times the number, right? So if this one's 2, that one will be 5 times the number. And then followed up by an IPO. So this is all being done as we speak. Matter of fact, I haven't told you this, but I've talked with 3 marketing companies that do equity crowdfunds. So I'm going to be bringing on one of those within the next month because I'm going to need them. So I don't really need them so much for the $1 million one as you do for the 5. But you might as well have them test it to find out who works and what works here so we can start scaling up. But if you don't buy this round, the next one, whatever you bought here is going to cost you 5 times as much. So if you could spend $200. So if you spend $200 here,
is that the minimum? Is $200?
Yeah. I don't mind. I want people to own the product. We will get this to a public offering, and that will probably take us roughly 24 months to do. So it'll be this round followed up by another round, followed up by an IPO, or we may do a Reg A offering, which is an equity crowdfund of 75 million. If we get this dialed in, remember, whenever the day I go public, when we do that, it'll all be institutional money. It'll be BlackRock and Vanguard. There's no way around it. You can't raise $100 million without it. So if you do a Reg A, and I have the people to be able to market it, so you could reach, it's all about a function of spend, then you could bypass it. You don't need it. And I would love to not have any of these people in this.
Oh yeah, me too.
To me, if you're a news organization, by the people, for the people should own the product, not BlackRock and Vanguard. So I want to keep them out of this as long as I can. So the good news is, once we do the first 2 rounds through the people, the next round's going to be at, I won't do it unless I have a minimum of 50,000 news reporters, which puts us at a $500 or $600 million market cap. So if I do a $50 or $60 million raise, you're only selling 10%. So they have no control whatsoever. Make sense?
Yep.
That's it. So that's why. So this money fuels to bring on the user base, which drives the audience, which attracts more ad revenue as you scale up. And then if you had to do the IPO, it would be with institutional money, but a small chunk. They wouldn't know much at all. And they'll still play. So anyway, in order to do this, you go to your news, go to the bottom, click on invest, read about what we're doing. There's a video if you like what you hear. $200 or anywhere in between. We're looking for investors, definitely.
A second ago, we were talking about education, and I just saw this come through. Now, I don't know how old it is, but I just saw it come through on my end. And it's talking about President Trump announces the Department of Education will be issuing guidance protecting the right to pray in public school. God has really used this man in so many ways. And he told us that he was going to protect Christians during his presidency. So I just want to play this video really quick, just because we did talk just briefly about,
of course,
about education and
for most of our country's history, the Bible was found in every classroom in the nation. Yet in many schools today, students are instead indoctrinated with anti-religious propaganda, and some are even punished for their religious beliefs, and very, very strongly punished. It's ridiculous. Joining us this morning is Hannah Allen from Honey Grove, Texas. A few years ago, Hannah organized a group of her classmates to pray for an injured peer. The school principal declared that Hannah's generous act of love was prohibited from taking place in front of the other students. Didn't like it. The principal didn't like it. Can you imagine? But Hannah very strongly stood her ground, and she won. And Hannah, I just want to thank you for letting the light of your faith shine for all of those to see. We really appreciate it. And where is Hannah? Is Hannah here someplace? I think so. Hannah, stand up, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hannah. I know what you went through. It's great. Appreciate it. To support students like Hannah, I'm pleased to announce this morning that the Department of Education will soon issue new guidance protecting the right to prayer in our public schools, and it's total protection.
Can you imagine this? I have never seen a president say that ever publicly.
No, unless
That's
we're a
incredible.
Muslim. Only unless it's not a Christian. A Muslim, no, we have to do it.
That is incredible. Wow. I mean, I'm very proud of this president. He's protecting me as a Christian. You know, he has pastors praying over him. You know, that bullet that should have killed him really changed him. I think brought him closer to God. I know he always had some kind of faith, right? But I think that really changed him and brought him closer to God. And God had a plan for him, obviously, because otherwise he would have been dead. And this would have been so much worse. Can you imagine a Kamala Harris world?
Oh, I would. Let's not even think about it, right? Because it just pisses me off. I have no interest in being mad anymore. I want to get stuff done, get it finished, and so we can fix this country, so we never have to deal with this crap again. Okay. By the way, the way you do it, if you're not going to do a civil war, it's through information.
Mm-hmm.
You ever hear the expression "information is power"?
Mm-hmm.
He who controls all the information has all the power.
Right.
Which means it's we the people. This is why I'm doing your news. I'm not going to be around that much longer. The people need to own this product, not institutions. So this is why I'm doing it. Make sure you buy some. Get your hands on some stock.
Yeah, and follow me on Your News, because now they have that follow button. So go to yournews.com. Make sure you follow Amber May and check them out daily. Get your daily dose of news from Sam Anthony at yournews.com. Thank you so much, Sam, for hanging out with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Amber, for having me on. See you soon.
See you soon, my friend. Thank you for joining us today on the Amber May Show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if there's someone that came to mind, please share this episode with them. Please follow us on Telegram at The Amber May Show, True Social Amber May, Frank Social Amber May, or Clout Hub. I can't wait to see you next time on the Amber May Show.